So what you're going to get today is a little bit of wisdom from my wife. Hello, welcome to the vlog. I was just wandering back from the supermarket and just aware that it's a really nice sunny day, and this view that I've just shown you, yeah, I don't think we've put it on the vlog before, so there you go. It's the pretty side of the road as we come back from the supermarket. Today's my birthday. I am 50 years old. So I'd have thought, do we talk about this in the vlog? Do we ignore it? It felt like we should talk about it at the risk of being self-indulgent. So what you're going to get today is a little bit of wisdom from my wife. But before we can get to that, I just need to sort of frame this. When I turned 30, my family clubbed together to buy me a guitar. It was an Epiphone Les Paul Gold Top. I still have it. If you're a guitar player, you'll know there is nothing more rock and roll than playing a Les Paul. It just makes you feel a certain kind of way, and that guitar still does that for me. Sadly, that guitar weighs a lot. It's been retired from playing live because I just don't want to carry that much weight on me. So I was suddenly thinking about the Epiphone earlier and thinking about who I was when I got that guitar, what I thought I was going to do, what it was going to do, what we might even do together, who knows. Lots of thoughts, and where am I now and what am I thinking about? And let's just say that the two are very different. I live in a very different world than I lived in 20 years ago. That's okay. That's kind of how life goes. And for those of you who are closer to my age or older than me, you'll understand that 20 years on from getting that guitar and being someone who's in the UK and really focused on the UK and not thinking about being anywhere else, being someone who's bought a house in Bosnia and Herzegovina and lives here and works here and is just thinking about stuff in relation to this part of the world, I'm a different person. And that's understandable, and that's as it should be. And so certain parts of me that were important then are not important now. Certain parts of me that are important now wouldn't be important if 20 years from now I'm living somewhere else doing something else. And so the 30-year-old me got an Epiphone Gold Top for his birthday. I had no real idea of what was just around the corner really. 3 years later, I was living in another country, starting another chapter of life that had similarities to what I'd done up to then, but in some ways is also very, very different. So 20 years later, birthday's coming around. What are you going to get for your birthday? And this is where we come to the wisdom from my wife. So the whole question was birthday presents. What do you want for your birthday? Now there's some things that I'm always interested in. I'm always looking at guitar pedals. It is something of like just a collector's thing, but it is also about tools of the trade. If you're going to make music and make sound, you need things that help you make certain sounds, and there's certain sounds you can't make without certain things like pedals that make them. And so I have a collection of pedals, and a lot of them are really important to the work I do. So I'm always up for a new happy birthday pedal, and I'm super grateful I got one sent all the way from Australia, and that made me really, really happy to receive that. For the same reason that pedals are really important to what I do, guitars are, because not every guitar is the same. And like I said, the Epiphone Les Paul Gold Top makes you play a certain way, it makes you feel a certain way when you play it, and it sounds a certain way. And I've been looking for a guitar that would sound a little bit different from that and from some of the other guitars I had, to fill a gap that for me is there in the options for guitars that I have in a studio. But I'm aware that like even second-hand guitars are not cheap, you know, for something that's going to be good enough to record on. So I was also looking at watches in a sort of fun and, you know, in a more accessible price range, let's say that. Anyway, I was mentioning this to Rowan, and this is when she offered this pearl of wisdom which I offer to you on my birthday. Guitars are more useful than watches. Make of that what you will. What it meant for me is, for my birthday, I have a new guitar, also second-hand. Bizarrely, 20 years later, it barely cost £20 more than the guitar that I got for my 30th birthday, so that's a bargain. This whole idea of Guitars are more useful than watches. I'm going to interpret that like this for the sake of this vlog and my happy birthday message to all of you. What is a watch useful for? A watch keeps time. What is a guitar there for? A guitar, in my case at least, yes, it's a toy, yes, it makes me happy, but it's a tool. It's there to enable creativity. And so as we unpack, guitars are more useful than watches, I like the idea that actually being committed to being creative and being able to make something out of nothing is more important than just keeping track of time and where we are in some regimented scheme of things. So I don't know if that's the most perfectly formed thought that we've ever put on the vlog, but guitars are more useful than watches. The idea that something that is creative and will help you be creative is more useful than something that just tells you where you are at any given point in time. That's the idea, and I'll take it. And I'll take the new guitar, which yeah, happy birthday to me. So for those of you who need to know, the new guitar is a Cort G290 Fat. I love the fact it's called Fat. I think that's very funny. It's probably a comment on my relative size compared to the guitar I got 20 years ago. I hope those thoughts, though not the most coherent, give you something. I think, let's remember, as we talk about guitars and watches, the passage of time passes on, we change. That's all good. It's supposed to happen like that. We need things to keep us creative and keep us doing something new. That's what guitar's for. And so that's why I'm grateful for another guitar on my birthday. That's why I'm, yeah, grateful to be in a place where I get to be creative, where I get to do new things, and I don't just get to count down the hours and, you know, that was another day of work done, like, let's on to the next one. And so, yeah, I know, I've got to be honest, 30-year-old me would never have expected to be sitting here on his 50th birthday talking to you lot. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you're watching, so thanks very much for watching. Do give us a big thumbs up for my 50th birthday. Do leave a comment, a question if you want to know more, and do remember that together we do adventure. We'll see you next time.